Welcome to our YouTube channel. Today we are going to continue the lesson Forces and Motion Unit 1. This is IGCSE 9 to 1 Physics syllabus. So the lesson Forces and Motion categorized into three parts. Part A units, Part B movement and position, Part C forces, movement, shape and momentum. Part A units we have covered in the previous video. If you couldn't watch that, I'll put the link in the description. Movement and position. First, we'll check what are the intended learning outcomes. Students will be assessed on their ability to plot and explain distance time graphs, know and use the relationship between average speed, distance moved and time taken. So the equation is given: average speed equal distance over time taken. Practical: investigate the motion of everyday objects such as toy cars or tennis balls. Know and use the relationship between acceleration, change in velocity and time taken. The equation is A equals V minus U over T. Plot and explain velocity time graphs. Determine acceleration on the gradient of the velocity time graphs. Determine the distance traveled from the area between the velocity time graph and the time axis. Use the relationship between final speed, initial speed, acceleration and distance moved. The equation is given as V squared equals U squared plus 2AS. Here these points are not coming with bold letters, or P is not there after the number 1.3P, 1.4P like that. That means this content is coming in paper 1 and paper 2 both, right? Okay, now we'll move to the first topic, distance and displacement. You can understand these two pictures. This explain distance and displacement, right? Distance is the length of the path. So you can see there are a lot of bends. It has no specific direction. From the first picture, it is a picture of a road in Sri Lanka, and second picture, it's a straight path, right? So from the pictures you can easily remember what is distance and what is displacement. Here another explanation. Suppose you are moving from A to B, so you can see the path. There are buildings, mountains, right? The yellow color path is the road. So if you move from A to B, you have to change your direction, right? There is no specific direction. So that we called distance. The length of the path between 2 points is called the distance. And distance has no specific direction. You can see A to B. If I draw a straight line, that is the straight distance. That means displacement. Displacement is the distance or straight path traveled in a particular direction. The SI unit of distance and displacement both are lengths, so SI unit is meters. Now we'll come to vector quantities and scalar quantities. Right? In previous slide you can see distance, the direction always changes. There is no specific direction. But when you check A to B straight path, there is a proper direction. You can mention an angle because that angle doesn't change. It is a straight line. So A to B displacement you can mention with a direction. So such quantities, right, we call them vector quantities, and quantities like distance we call them scalar quantities. So what is a vector quantity? A vector quantity is a quantity that has both size, that means magnitude, and direction. For example, displacement, force, momentum, acceleration, velocity, right? Then a scalar quantity is a quantity that has only a size, that means magnitude, and no direction. Example, if you take distance, time, volume, speed, mass, temperature. Such quantities we can't tell them, we can't measure direction. For example, you don't tell time with a direction, right? You don't tell temperature with a direction. So those are called scalar quantities. Now we'll come to the topic instantaneous speed. So what is called instantaneous speed? The speed of an object at a particular moment in time is called instantaneous speed. That means when you are moving, if you check your speedometer speed at that moment, that is called instantaneous speed. Now, average speed. The ratio between the total distance moved and the total time taken for a journey is called average speed, right? We can write this equation: average speed equal distance moved divided by time taken. You remember this time taken is measured from the beginning of the journey to the end. That means even if you stop somewhere, even you slow down, even you speed up, the time taken, the whole time taken is taken to the calculation. That's how we calculate average speed. So we can represent average speed using these symbols. Simple V equals simple S over T. Remember, here S is used as the symbol for distance moved, right? In this syllabus, all the distances, right, mention with the letter simple S, and you know it is used as the symbol for time, the unit of time, seconds. We don't use simple D as a symbol for distance. Some syllabuses, or when you write this equation, sometimes you write distance over time. Maybe you have learned in previous years, that is D over T. But remember, in this syllabus, we always use simple S for distance. Now we'll check units of speed. V equals S over T. So S distance moved, T time taken, V speed. So what is the unit of S? It is a distance, so it is in meters. Time, seconds, so those are the SI units. What is the unit of speed? Meters per second. SI unit of speed is meters per second. Other units for speed, I told you we are using metric system. So in metric system, we can use kilometers per hour, centimeters per second, millimeters per second. Right. Metric units. These are all metric units. In this syllabus, we don't use miles per hour. Those are imperial units. We don't use imperial units in the syllabus. If you see M in this context, that doesn't mean miles. It means meter or milli. So simple M represent meter or milli, not miles. Remember that. Now we'll come to concept learning question. A car travels 240 kilometers in 3 hours. Find the average speed of the car in kilometers per hour. So first we can write the equation V equals S over T. Then we'll substitute values. S equals 240 kilometers. Time 3 hours. When you divide, you will get 80 kilometers per hour. Here this triangle method, it is easy to substitute or subject the quantities in the equation. You can see if you close one of them, suppose I close T with my finger, so S over V is coming. That means T is equal to S over V. That line shows the division. We can do another example. Concept learning question. A car travels with an average speed of 50 kilometers per hour. Find the time taken to travel 250 kilometers. Now first write the equation v equals s over t. Then from the triangle method, you remember we took t equals s over v, or you can subject t here, it is not a big thing, right? Now t equals 250 kilometers divided by the speed 50 kilometers per hours. You get the answer 5 hours. So here you can see kilometers to kilometers cancel, right? In this the answer is coming as hours. Okay, next question. The car travels with an average speed of 60 kilometers per hour. Find the distance traveled within 2 hours. So now you can see S equals V into T. If you check that triangle here, if you cover S with your finger, right, you can see it's equal to what? V into T, right? So V is 60 kilometers per hour, time is 2 hours. When you multiply them, hours to hours cancel, h to h cancel. So answer is coming as 120 kilometers. I hope you understood these concept learning questions. Now we'll move to the next part. Unit conversions between kilometers per hour and meters per second. This is very important part because sometimes the speed units are given as kilometers per hour. So we have to convert them into meters per second. That means SI unit. So how to convert 1 kilometers per hour to meters per second? You know 1 hour equals 60 minutes. 1 minute equals 60 seconds. And when you convert 1 hour into seconds, it's 60 into 60. That means 3600 seconds. 1 kilometer is 1000 meters, right? So we'll take 1 kilometers per hour. That means 1 kilometer divided by 1 hour. 1 kilometer we can write as 1000 meters. 1 hour we can write as 3600 seconds. So if I simplify this fraction, comes 5 over 18 meters per second. So for easiness, I'll make it 1 in the numerator, 1 over 3.6 meters per second. So you will understand why I took a decimal in the denominator. So what is the meaning of this thing? Divide the kilometers per hour speed value by 3.6 and write the answer in meters per second. Okay, you may not understand that. We'll do an example. Here you can see 144 kilometers per hour in meters per second. So how to convert 144 kilometers per hour into meters per second? Easily, you just have to divide this by 3.6. Then you get the answer 40 meters per second. Right, I will do a concept learning question. A car traveling with a speed of 72 kilometers per hour. Find the average speed of the car in meters per second. So here 72 divided by 3.6, you get the answer 20 meters per second. Or in this way, without using that 3.6, you can directly do that. 72 kilometers convert into meters. That means 72 multiplied by 1000. 1 hour converted into 3600 seconds. Then also you will get the same answer, 20 meters per second. The advantage of the previous method is you can easily remember the number 3.6. Then you have to divide any number coming in kilometers per hour by 3.6 to get the answer 20 meters per second. It's saving your time, right? We'll go to the next one. Unit conversions between kilometers per hour and meters per second. Convert 1 meters per second into kilometers per hour. So like the previous way, we can write 1 meter in kilometer, 0.001 kilometer, and 1 second as one part out of 3600 parts, 1 second in hours, right? So when you divide that, you can see answer is coming as 3.6 kilometers per hour. That means if the speed is given in meters per second, To convert that into kilometers per hour, you have to multiply that by 3.6. We'll do an example. Write 10 meters per second in kilometers per hour. So 10 into 3.6, you get 36 kilometers per hour. Right? We'll do concept learning question about this. A car traveling with a speed of 25 meters per second. Find the average speed of the car in kilometers per hour. So 25 into 3.6, very easy, 90 kilometers per hour. Or other way, you can use the long method. 25 converts into kilometers, then 1 second converts into hours. Same answer you get, 90 kilometers per hour. Now practical. Investigate the motion of everyday objects such as toy cars or tennis balls. So in this practical, what we do, we take a wooden plank and a toy car, and we have to make a certain height and inclined plane using pile of books, right? Then we release the car from the top and measure the time taken to reach to the bottom of the inclined plane using this stopwatch. Here the distance AB, the car moving to the bottom, right? We can measure that car moving like that, and we can measure the time taken. Here you can see time taken is measured 3 times to take the average. So why we take average, then it reduces the errors. So distance from A to B, that means the distance the car moved on the inclined plane, that can be measured AB. So AB is a constant value. Height, we have to make sure we are releasing the car from the same height. Then we can measure the speed. We can calculate the speed using the equation B equals S over T, that means AB over T. Here the reaction time, what is called reaction time. So when someone doing an action, right, there is a delay. Average persons, that delay is 250 milliseconds. Suppose you are starting the stopwatch by pressing this button, then there is a delay of 250 milliseconds. And when you stopping that, so there may be a delay of 250 milliseconds. So there is an error by when starting the stopwatch and when stopping the stopwatch, there is an error. So how to reduce these errors in this calculation? Here another thing is given. If one value is quite different from the other, it should be treated as anomalous. The result is not accurate and ignored or repeated. So when you repeat values, when you're doing an experiment, if the values are in same pattern, it's okay. If one value or two value moved, if it is deviated away, if it is different from the current pattern, then we have to consider that as anomalous. Those things are removed from the calculations. Right. Now we'll do the same experiment using light gauge.